Hey there, welcome back. I'm Ron Mullet. I've been a hobbyist woodworker for years and years and years, and I just really enjoy it. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the things that I used or make things easier or a little more enjoyable in my shop. Call them tips, call them tricks, whatever you want to call them. And I'm hoping that maybe you'll get something out of it that might make your woodworking a little bit more enjoyable or a little bit easier in your shop too. So let's get started. How often have you reached for your glue bottle and there's glue stuck on the end of it and you just can't pull it loose? It just frustrates you that you can't get it loose. A little tip is, wherever you put your glue bottle, put a 5/8 inch open end wrench. Problem solved. I like to keep my table saw waxed. I use paste wax for the table saw to keep the wood shining smooth, and also keeps any rust from building up on it. But I don't always have time just to stop what I'm doing and wax the surface. What I reach for is some wax paper. Tear out a big chunk of wax paper, crumple it up, and just go over your table saw. Rearrange it a little bit down into miter gauge grooves, and it'll make a difference. It really will. I use this on my bandsaw table, my planer table, anything that's metal that wood slides across. This will just be a quick fix to get it nice and slippery. When I have to sand large pieces like big sheets of plywood or any kind of large piece on my bench, I use my DeWalt ROS and I connect my shopvac to it, and this does a great job of sucking all the sanding dust out. But the problem is I've got this hose dragging on here, I've got this power cord, and it's always in the way. I can't, and it just affects my sanding and makes it uncomfortable. So to solve that problem, I put a hook in the rafter above me. I take a bungee cord, put the bungee cord up there, hang it on the hook, let it hang, and then I take the hose from my shop vac, pull it up as high as I can get it, hook the bungee cord on the hose, hook that onto the sander, and this is not in the way, but I still have the problem with the power cord. So what I do with the power cord is, I've got another little bungee cord, take the power cord, wrap it around a couple times with this bungee cord, hook it together without sticking myself, and now the power cord's out of the way. I can sand from this end of the bench all the way to this end of the bench with no interference from any of this. It works for me, so maybe I've helped you in some way. Some of my plywood projects, I iron on edge banding. It has glue on one side and you take a hot iron and you can iron it on. It comes in a roll like this, but without something to secure this roll or hold this roll while you're under it, this happens. It just goes crazy and you can't control it. It just goes nuts, okay? I've solved that problem. Right here. Come over here and let me show you. I've taken some 3/4 inch plywood, screwed a bottom on here so it'll sit up. Took a piece of plywood, cut a circle the size of the banding. I put the banding on there, put the screws, put this bar on, run the screws in. Now I can clamp this to my bench, good and sturdy. Take the tape off that is securing the thing. Now, of course, it will unwind this much, but it won't just blast all over the bench. I can pull it out to whatever the length I need. Take my cutters, cut it off, and it's right there for the next one. Just keep pulling it out, cut it off, and it's always there. It doesn't get lost. It works great. I hope you can use this in your shop. When I built this bench, I also built a wagon vise that goes across the front. It has a movable dog here, and then it has dog holes the full length of the bench. I can clamp a piece of wood in with my vise, and now I can work on the surface of the wood like this. But to work on the edge, a little bit more difficult. I put it in my bench vise. Well, you can see I don't have any support out here at this end when I clamp it down there to work on the edge. So I took a piece of wood, put a bunch of dowel holes in it. I've got a dowel. On the back, I attached a square plug that will fit in these dowel holes, so I can move this wherever I want to, depending on the length of the board I'm going to put in there. So I'll put the board in the vise, clamp the board in the vise, and then I can put the dowel where it meets it, and now it's secure at both ends, so I can work on this edge without any problem. So there's some of the things that I use to make my woodworking easier and more enjoyable. And that's what I'm all about, is just enjoying my woodworking. And I hope you just enjoy your woodworking as well. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe and like button. I'd really appreciate it. And check out some of my videos in these playlists, and I'll be using some of these tricks or tips or whatever you want to call them. So enjoy your woodworking, and I'll see you on the next one.